Nevertheless, we gave it a shot. Let me just sort of illustrate for you. Okay, here is some done by a fan. This is done by Viria. She's a great artist, and that's her take on Nico D'Angelo. But the official art that the publisher did for me, okay, now, in their defense, at the time that we did this, I didn't know that the fandom was going to turn Nico into the goth god of hotness, okay? He was just this geeky little kid. So I thought, oh, okay, that's fine. But again, very, very different. Percy Jackson, same problem. Here's Viria's take. Yeah, he's just like, hey, I'm just leaning here being awesome. And they wanted to do, the publisher wanted to do an official sort of Annabeth and Percy at 16. And we had the worst time. I'm not an artist, okay? I was trying, no, that's not right, and they tried like 5 different drafts, and this is the best they could get. I know, I mean, between you and me, he kind of looks like he's been hit repeatedly in the face, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. So when it came time to do the artwork for the Sword of Summer, the new series, we found this different artist. Now, we first learned about her because she did this mock-up of a Blood of Olympus cover that was this. And that's not the actual cover. She just made that herself. Her name is Yori, and she does this amazing fan art. And I said, oh, that's really cool. So Disney actually bought the rights to this, and they put it out with Blood of Olympus as a poster in some of the editions, not in all of them. And that was really cool because she went from being a fan artist to an actual paid artist for Disney. Hey, pretty cool. So we asked her to do the character art for Magnus. Now again, you may not agree with this once you read the book that they look this way, but I think she did a pretty good job. Here is Magnus Chase according to Yori. So if you don't like seeing him as Kurt Cobain, you can see him as Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Still looks really good.
Another important character, Sam, otherwise known as Samira Alabas.
Yes!
She's just your typical Muslim American Valkyrie from Dorchester. And his elf and dwarf sidekick, Hearthstone and Blitzen. And of course, one of everyone's favorite gods who appears in the book, the god who is not Tom Hiddleston. Loki. Why is his face all scarred? Well, that comes from the myths, you'll find out. And so, that's a little look at Magnus Chase, how he came to be.
Damn.
Magnus Chase is going to be a trilogy, 3 books. I'm working on the second one right now. However, because I like to make myself crazy and stay busy,
oh my God,
I started thinking, okay, what else do I want to do? What else do I want to explore? And I got this idea as I was writing Percy Jackson's Greek gods.
Oh my God.
And I started thinking about it, and I couldn't get rid of the idea. And I said, wow, I really want to write this. Now, I think you will agree that in Blood of Olympus, if you've read it, I won't spoil it, there are definitely some things that are not resolved, right? Now, partly that's because I have to be honest with you, I hate epilogues. And what I mean by that is I hate the ones that are like, and then they lived and they had 3 children whose names were, and then they got there when they were 35, they bought a Volvo, and then they died when they were, I mean, the whole life. I hate that. Why? Because it closes the door on your imagination. It says, this is what happened, nothing else can possibly happen to them, and then they died, the end. And I don't like that. I like you to have some room to think about what you think might happen to them. However, I do understand that a lot of readers are curious. What did happen to these guys immediately after Blood of Olympus? And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, we're going back to the world of the demigods one more time. of Apollo. Well, you may know from the series that, you know, things are not all well. In fact, why don't I just see if I can read? You want to hear the description of it? Okay. This is just the real short summary that we're putting out. Okay. How do you punish an immortal? By making him human. After angering his father Zeus, the god Apollo is cast down from Olympus. Weak and disoriented, he lands in New York City as a regular teenage boy. Now, without his godly powers, the 4,000-year-old deity must learn to survive in the modern world until he can somehow find a way to regain Zeus's favor. But Apollo has many enemies, gods, monsters, and mortals who would love to see the former Olympian permanently destroyed. Apollo needs help, and he can only think of one place to go, an enclave of modern demigods known as Camp Half-Blood. This is actually based on mythology. Twice before, Apollo has been turned mortal by Zeus. This is in the original myths. And sent down to serve some human as a punishment. Well, it's going to happen to him again in this series. And he doesn't know exactly what's going on. But this series will be 5 books, like the other ones. And during the course of the series, you will see all of the characters from all of the other books.
I'm just really...
Now, if you're confused, I don't blame you, but the first chance to see a sneak peek of this book will be in this collection, which is called Demigods and Magicians. It comes out in April. This is a collection of the Kane Percy crossover stories, because you guys asked for an actual physical book. So here it is.
Yes!
It'll also have your first sneak peek at the first Trials of Apollo book, which is called The Hidden Oracle. Now, so just to run down, because I forget this stuff myself, this book, the Demigods and Magician book, comes out April 5th. Then the Trials of Apollo, The Hidden Oracle, the first book, comes out not in 2 years, not in 1 year, but at the end of this school year, May 3rd. And then, a year from now, the second Magnus Chase book, The Hammer of Thor, comes out. Yes, I'm going to be a very busy guy. All right, now my favorite part here is the questions that you guys made for me before you came in here. So obviously we can't get to all of them, but let's see what you got. Okay. This is from Kayla, who wants to know, which book did you have the most fun writing? Oh man, okay, this is not really fair because it's fresh on my mind, but I have to tell you, The Trials of Apollo, I'm writing from Apollo's point of view. Whole series. He is like, he's insane. I love writing from Apollo's point of view. Oh, and by the way, just in case you're curious, you know how I like to do the funny chapter titles? Okay. Because Apollo is the god of bad poetry, the chapter titles of the series, every single one is a bad haiku from Apollo. If you went to Camp Half-Blood, which cabin do you think you would be in? I mean, I don't know, I kind of like my space, so I think I would hope to be in the Zeus cabin because there's nobody there. You know, that'd be good. What is the one piece of advice you received when you started writing that stuck with you and helped you the most? Great question. I think I got a lot of good advice, but I think the biggest thing is don't give up. You know, people are going to reject your stuff. It happens to everybody. It happened to me. I had that first book I wrote, Big Red Tequila. I got 14 rejection notes before it was finally published. If I'd given up after 5 or 10, I wouldn't be here. So whatever you do, don't give up. All right, I read an interview in which you said you finalized the prophecies of Percy Jackson after you finished drafting. Was it different for Heroes of Olympus? No, that makes me sound like I know the future. What I do is I write the book, and then I go back and I put the prophecy in after I know exactly what's going to happen. And everybody's like, wow, he's so deep. How does he do that? I cheat. Elizabeth would like to know, what inspired you to write the Kane Chronicles? I really love Egypt. That's like probably my other favorite mythology. I love the pyramids and the mummies and the hieroglyphs. And I was reading these books that are actual ancient Egyptian spell books. And some of the magic in there is just nuts. I mean, it's really, really crazy stuff. So everything that you read in the Kane Chronicles, all of that magic, that's actually a documented spell. I'm not saying it works. I'm just saying that's what the Egyptians thought would happen if you could cast magic. What happened to Bob and Damison? That's a really great question. You know, I'm glad you asked that actually, because I hadn't yet thought how I'm going to address that in the Trials of Apollo. But now that you reminded me, I will.
Yes! Oh my God!
What relationship is there between Annabeth Chase and Magnus Chase? That's not really a spoiler because I've announced that, but they're cousins. They are related. And you will see Annabeth in the book and in the series. She's in it. What part of the writing process do you find most challenging? Oh man, revision. I hate revision. I'm doing that right now with the Trials of Apollo. Oh, it's horrible. But, you know, it's just part of what you got to do. And finally, Kelly would like to know, what comes first, researching mythology or plot development? Again, you guys have great questions. They kind of happen at the same time. I know some of the mythology, but obviously I don't know everything, so I have to learn new stuff and check my facts. And that goes along with the plot. So, I hope you guys will enjoy the next book when it comes out. I hope you guys like The Sword of Summer when you start it tonight. Thank you so much for spending part of your time with me. Thank you, guys.